Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here in Anguilla. I'd like to quickly apologize to anybody who saw the earlier review video that I put up. For some reason, whenever I update my driver, my system here likes to pick up my webcam camera instead of my headset camera. And so the audio was horrendous, and I really apologize for that. We make every effort to be moderately professional here at the Island Sim Pilot channel, and I came up short earlier, so I apologize to you guys. We are here to test out the new NVIDIA driver 552.44, so let's get right to it. Here in the Islander today, beautiful day to fly as you can see. Ooh, external power supply on, rotating beacon on, mixtures and props full forward. Master and battery switches on, fuel pumps on. We'll go fuel valves open, the starter hood cover, mags on left. Take a quick look outside, make sure there's nobody out there to kill or maim. Go right engine first, throttle there. And oil pressure is looking good, fuel pressure is looking good, left engine start. Oil pressure is looking good, mags to both, close the starter hood cover. Fuel pumps off, check fuel pressures is looking good, lean the mixtures for taxi, avionics master coming on. The first thing you'd want to do when you start the engine is look at your oil pressure, which is these two gauges right here, oil pressure. If you don't have any oil pressure, you don't have any, well, if you don't have any oil pressure, there's one of two things. You either have an oil pressure gauge failure, which is possible, although unlikely when you've got two engines and two gauges. But the other alternative is you don't have any oil in your engine, which is an unfortunate situation for sure. So we'll external power supply off. We're going to do a quick hop today over to Princess Juliana, and then we will head over to Grand Cass. So I'm going to do 2 landings and get a little scenery in here so we can see what we're looking at. We'll go toes on the brakes. Parking brake is off. Okay. And let's matriculate, and as soon as you get going, tap your brakes. I was talking in the video yesterday, my video on flight control checks, about not being lazy and doing things improperly in the sim. So we're going to start trying to get back to good habits. That's what simulators are for. Forming good habits. Put down a notch of flaps. We'll go fuel pumps on. Let's check our trim. Everything's looking good. All my normal settings. Final approach course looks clear. Runway looks clear. We'll go mixtures and props full forward. Landing light coming on because we're on an active runway. So there's no specific note about Microsoft Flight Simulator with this driver. The flight that I did earlier was lovely. No problems were had, but alright, heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is alive. 70 knots and rotate. So I've been messing with my sensitivity settings here today. There's 400 feet AGL. We'll start our turnout, bring the power back to 25. Props back to 25. Let that nose dip just a little bit, pick up some speed, put up the flaps. So, looking good. Trim for 100 knots. 1,000 feet is going to be good for this hop. This is very short. 1,000 feet, we'll go fuel pumps off, check our fuel pressures. Power back to 23, props back to 23. And we'll nudge it over here. A little bit of a hesitation right there. I've noticed a few little hesitations in my flight this morning and that one right now. The only thing is, this morning I had my TLOD cranked up, which could have caused it. So I don't know. Just something to keep an eye out. Keep an eye on here. Beautiful. I've got REX weather going. And let's see, fuel pumps are off, flaps are up. Amps and volts are good. Engine instruments all green. So one thing that I've flown this airplane a lot in the sim, and I completely sort of forgot that it has failures enabled. I mean, aside from the inherent failure that comes from me as a pilot. And so I just turned all the failures on. So it's got like cylinder failures, it's got mag failures, it's got what else? Oil leaks, and now you're gonna see me sitting here looking out the window trying to find it, looking, see my engines are leaking oil. But it's kind of cool. I totally forgot about it. And a loyal member of my channel, Bob, was asking about it. And I frankly didn't know. And he looked into it and reported back that, yeah, this airplane's got failures, aside from me. And so it's kind of cool, actually. Something. Well, I don't do it. I was about to say that's something I don't check is the gyro section. I don't have gyros in my airplane, my real airplane, so I'm not in the habit of checking them. Which is poor. But now I'm going to be paranoid because I've got all this stuff to worry about. Whereas the previous, like 300 hours or whatever that I've got in this airplane were all worry-free because there was nothing I had all the failures disabled. So, kind of interesting stuff. But I've also, the other thing I did today was I turned on realistic turbulence. I had the turbulence on low, and to be honest, I think my criticism of the turbulence in the sim was overstated. Turbulence annoys me in real life and it annoys me in the simulator. And I think given the choice, I just chose to make it a little easier for myself and not really acknowledge the fact that there is turbulence in the world. And, so I've got realistic turbulence turned on, and we'll see. Beautiful day here in St. Maarten. Got REX weather going again. What's weird is that I don't have any complaints about REX weather. REX weather force. Like, it's good. But there are times when I guess my preference is to not run programs if I don't have to. And live weather, you know, stock Asopo weather does very, very well at times, oftentimes in fact. But I did notice again today, bring some power back, we'll go fuel pumps on. I did notice earlier today that, quick look down, final looks clear, that it was clear weather. Live weather was clear in this area, and I watch the Maho Beach Cam every day. Like, I'm always watching this airport, and so I know what the weather generally looks like when I load into the sim, because I spend 95% of my time flying, my GA flying anyway, right here, and so usually when I load into the sim, I know what the weather's going to be, or what it should look like. Back in the white arc here. And every once in a while I'll notice it doesn't really match, which was the case today, and so I decided to fire up Real Environment X again, and it is lovely. I will go props full forward, fuel pumps are on, flaps are set. Just get that airspeed back here just a little bit. I'll be very happy with 80 knots. And we'll start trimming that out. So I'll talk a little bit about my sensitivity settings here as we get going. On the go here. Here's one red, so we'll start bringing some power in. 80 knots, about 400 feet a minute, that'll do the trick. 600 is going to be too much. A bit of a right to left crosswind, it seems. Alright, a bit of trim. Trim. Alright. Shocking display of confidence here. Well, we're not on center line, so I guess I can't quite claim confidence here. Bringing the power out. And power's all the way out. There we go, on the upwind wheel. And we'll just give it a shot of forward trim. And we'll put one notch of flaps up. Just confirm that. And we'll go power in. Power is set. Engine switch over to green. 70 knots. Let's go flying. I don't like getting heads down when I'm doing touch and goes, and even just looking down to check the trim is not something I like doing. So if you just give yourself a shot of nose down trim, because you know you're going to be in nose up trim for the landing. So just give yourself a little shot of nose down trim. Should get you pretty close to where you should be. Great little bakery right along in here. There's 1,000 feet, go 23, 23. Nose over. And we're going to pretend that we intended to climb to 1,500 feet. We really do have to actually insist on leveling off there. Can't really make many more excuses after this. Alright, there we go. Pumps were on. There is Philipsburg, the capital of Dutch St. Maarten. Fun little place, a lot of duty-free shops, restaurants, stuff like that. But I did a video a week ago. There's another little hesitation right there. Completely smooth on the landing. No hiccups or pauses or anything on the approach. But anyway, I did a video on control sensitivities a while back, maybe a week and a half ago. And extremity dead zones, to me, it's I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it, because it's a very easy way to give a heavier feel to an airplane. If an airplane is way too sensitive, which they all are in the sim, in my opinion, at least all the smaller GA aircraft, just kind of very twitchy. And the extremity dead zone is a really easy way of quickly resolving that. The only downside of the extremity dead zone is that it limits the travel for your flight controls. If you guys saw the video I did, it was the St. Barts landing video, actually, the first landing. I had kind of a big-ish extremity dead zone set, and I barely was able to get the nose up for landing. And that's the problem. You're taking travel out of, your flight control. So instead of, if you put in a positive 20% dead zone, extremity dead zone for your elevator, you've now reduced your elevator travel by 20%, which can be a problem when you're trying to get to nose up for landing, for example. Particularly at a place like St. Barts. I mean, like a normal landing, it's really not going to have that much of an issue. But it does give you that heavier feel. And I guess I've never really played around with, or I've played around with sensitivity a little bit with very little satisfaction. The actual sensitivity setting. So the group of settings is called sensitivities. And within that, there is, sensitivity, there is extremity dead zone, there's reactivity. And the actual sensitivity setting, just going to keep an eye on that runway because we're crossing the departure end here. You don't want to become a hood ornament. The actual sensitivity setting I've never really been satisfied with, which is another way of saying I think it just doesn't work very well. And reactivity doesn't work very well either. Well, it probably works well for what it's designed to do, but the reactivity setting in particular can get you out of phase between the physical activity of the physical movement of your flight controls and the movement of your airplane. And I really don't like the idea of being kind of having my reactions be a second or two late in the sim, you know, compared to what I do with my yoke or whatever. So it's not very, that's not very useful either. I mean, I think the reactivity setting is useful to nibble around the edges of, you know, twitchiness, so to speak. But what I've done today, to make a long story short, is I have moved from using the extremity dead zone to actually using the sensitivity setting. And I think this time I've got some joy out of it. Yeah, way to be hand-fisted on the power there, Mike. So we'll see if I can get some success with this, and then maybe I can share my findings with you guys. The other thing I'm trying to do is stop flying the Islander like it's a 737. As I make these huge wide patterns in 3-mile finals in this airplane. That's not what this airplane is designed to do. I will go full pumps up. Get that 1-2 on the left hash mark there, and that will mean we are on a good left base. There we go. Let's get the nose up. First notch of flaps in. There's 115. And start pulling out here. And there's flaps coming in. Alright, fuel pumps are on, flaps are set. Mixtures and props full forward. Seatbelts are secure. Landing checklist complete. One of my favorite approaches. I love this approach. And 75 knots is fine, but get a little bit of power in here. Trim. There we go. I think we'll do it touch and go. We'll head over to Anguilla here. Just to round out the experience. Bring some power out now. Nose up just a little bit. I think the realistic turbulence feels much better to me now. It used to just chuck you around over that beach and those buildings right there. Power's all the way out. There we go. Make sure the props full forward with the 1 notch of flaps up. Some nose down trim in. Bring in the power. Now power is set. Engine instruments in the green. 70 knots. Alright. I almost have a little bit too much sensitivity reduction here. But it really gives you the ability to going over these houses here. I'm gonna bring the props back just a little bit more than I normally might. Drop the nose here a little bit. Flaps up. You always want to be a good citizen when you're a pilot. You don't want to annoy people on the ground. 90 knots in the climb is good. And go. Left turn out here. 1,000 feet. AGL will go a few pumps off. As a matter of fact, we'll just nose it over right now. We'll stay here at 1,000 feet. Really, this airplane feels fantastic. The sensitivity feels good. Get these phantom, like whenever you go over that right there, just chuck this up in the air, which is not very realistic. And there's no very little, if any, mechanical turbulence coming off that. So, all right. What do we got? We're good to go. So trim here a little bit, and we'll head for home. So, two little hesitations, I'd call them, so far on the trip. Nothing I'm particularly worried about. Could be nothing. The other thing is, did an internet speed test earlier today, and I was getting like 20 megabytes per second, and I'm on a 300 megabyte line, so it's possible that might have a little play in it too. But in any event, even if the two quote-unquote hesitations are driver related or whatever, it's nothing. Nothing to be concerned about. So, oh, Anguilla, I love you. I love you so. Go right over the top of the field here, and then we'll just do a left-hand pattern here. Not on Batson because I'm being a good boy. Some people get annoyed when I'm on Batson when I do these videos, which is fine. Back to 17, and props back to 21. The nose up. Speed checks for flaps 1. Pumps are on. Sand the ground. There is Corpus Bay. Speed. As soon as we get rid of enough speed, we'll go flaps 2. Okay. around over here. There we go. Go flaps 2. And we'll start an early turn here. Because we can. Airspeed, vertical speed, overshot that, which is not what you want to do. You also don't want to crash. That's what I get for doing something I don't normally do. Alright, fuel pumps are on, flaps are set. Mixtures and props forward, seat belts are secure, pre-landing checklist complete. That's what I get for doing something that I don't normally do. Alright. A little fast. Power back a little bit. See, this to me feels a whole lot better turbulence-wise. Used to be you'd go over George Hill right there and it would just, I mean, just throw you all over the place, which is completely unrealistic. Now you just get a little bit of a movement now, which feels pretty darn good. Oh, jeez. Ay, ay, ay. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Now my brakes are smoking. I think I'll probably take a little bit of that, add a little bit of that sensitivity back. But it's good because it gives you a feeling of weight, but at the same time you still can, as I just demonstrated, get yourself into a porpoise, which, you know. So anyway, flaps up, mixtures of lean for taxi, landing light coming off. Would have been good to turn my nav and strobe lights off, but I didn't have them on, so no need to bother with that. Clayton J. Lloyd International Airport, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. And apply the brakes. Mixtures to idle cutoff. Throttles are idle. Parking brake on. Windows open. Lights off. Avionics master off. Fuel pumps are off. Flaps are up. Mags off. Master and battery switches off. Let's get our chocks. If I can. And boarding steps, and we'll open our doors. It says I've got 44 hours in this plane. That number has gotten reset so many times I can't even tell you. So, in terms of the driver, I see no performance difference really with this one to 552.22, which I think was the last one. I didn't have any real difference between that one and the one before that either. Smooth performance, good visuals. I think this one is just fine. So, you know, up to you guys whether you want to do it or not. I know some people are still in the mode of not wanting to change drivers, but at this point, I just update them now. I have some pretty good level of confidence in them, and I think I've had one driver out of the last, I don't know, 6 or 8 that wasn't any good. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everybody's support, and I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys are doing well.